Leonardo DiCaprio has played many roles in his life: tragic shipwreck survivor, Wall Street wolf, bear wrestling pioneer. But off-screen, his roles might be better described as perpetual bachelor, environmentalist with a jet habit, and that guy who keeps showing up with shady billionaires at parties. Let's dive into the murky waters of Leo's real-life drama, where yachts, models, and multi-million-dollar scandals float around like props on the Titanic set. The posse that should have stayed in the 90s. Back in the mid-1990s, when Leonardo was fresh off Romeo plus Juliet, and before Titanic turned him into the world's dreamboat, he rolled with a crew of Hollywood hopefuls. They weren't exactly the Rat Pack, but more like the Cat Pack, though the actual name of their group was way too offensive to print in polite company. Let's just say it rhymed with kitty, and leave it at that. This posse included Tobey Maguire, David Blaine, Harmony Korine, Kevin Connolly, and other names you'd recognize from the fringes of Hollywood gossip columns. Their hobbies? Club hopping, womanizing, and allegedly turning hotel rooms into revolving doors for hot young things. Not exactly behavior that would play well in a post-Me Too era. One of their crowning achievements was the indie film Don's Plum. Shot before Leo and Toby hit it big, it was supposed to be a gritty, improvised look at aimless young men. Instead, it became a cringe time capsule of their misogynistic antics. DiCaprio and Maguire were so horrified by how they came across that they fought tooth and nail to bury the movie. The compromise? It could be released overseas, but never in North America. So, if you're curious, you'll need to grab your passport. Leo's Law, Forever 25. While most of us eventually graduate from dumb 20-something antics, Leo just didn't. His career grew more prestigious, but his dating pool remained suspiciously shallow. If you've heard of Leo's Law, you already know the joke. He doesn't date women over 25. Internet sleuths even graphed his romantic history on Reddit, charting a series of models and actresses who all seemed to age out the moment they hit their mid-20s. The pattern became so consistent that memes declared DiCaprio the Benjamin Button of dating. He gets older, his girlfriends don't. To his credit, he finally bucked the trend in 2025 by dating Victoria Lamas, who, gasp, was 27. Baby steps? Leo, baby steps. Climate crusader, with a carbon footprint the size of Saturn. Leo has long been Hollywood's poster child for environmentalism. He's narrated climate change documentaries, spoken at the UN, and warned governments to make the transition fast enough. But then there's the other Leo, the one who takes private jets to environmental award ceremonies. Yes, in 2016, he famously hopped a jet from Cannes to New York just to collect an Eco Award, then flew back to France within 24 hours. That same weekend, he used another private jet to travel a grand total of 8 miles to a gala. And when he's not in the skies, he's on the seas, lounging on fuel-guzzling super yachts, or, according to reports, even using a helicopter to get from said yacht to dinner. It's like watching Captain Planet binge fossil fuels for fun. Where charity meets controversy. To balance things out, DiCaprio founded the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation in 1998, pledging to save the planet. Noble, right? Except the foundation later merged with a donor-advised fund, which conveniently made its finances opaque. The IRS has flagged these types of funds for sometimes being used less for charity and more for wealthy donors to shuffle money around tax-free. Things got especially dicey in 2016 when DiCaprio hosted a gala that raked in $45 million in donations. That very same day, the U.S. Department of Justice announced an investigation into the 1MDB scandal, a multi-billion-dollar embezzlement scheme from Malaysia. And guess whose foundation popped up in the paperwork? Yep, Hollywood actor one. That would be our eco-warrior Leo, Joe Low and the Wolf of Real Wall Street. One of DiCaprio's closest ties in the 1MDB mess was Joe Low, a Malaysian financier with a taste for excess that made Gatsby look frugal. Between 2009 and 2010, Low blew $85 million on parties alone, inviting Leo to join the fun. Sometimes he even paid the actor $250,000 just to show up, because nothing says good investment like renting Jack Dawson for the night. The gifts were next level: a Picasso, a Basquiat, even Marlon Brando's actual Oscar statuette. Leo later had to hand them all over to the government, which must have been awkward. Even more ironic, Joe Low also helped bankroll The Wolf of Wall Street, the cautionary tale about greed and embezzlement. Art imitates life, and in this case, funded it too. More friends in low places. Low wasn't Leo's only sketchy buddy. There was Dana Giacchetto, a financial manager who defrauded clients, including Leo, in the late 90s. Leo was so close to him that he skipped the Oscars the year Titanic won everything just to hang at Giacchetto's loft. Then there was Heli Namad, a wealthy art dealer later caught running an illegal high-stakes poker ring. Namad went to prison, paid millions in fines, and still managed to snag a Trump pardon. Through it all, Leo kept palling around, even being spotted jetting off with him as recently as 2023. And let's not forget Sean "Diddy" Combs, whose social circle included DiCaprio at his infamous white parties. Leo's name even popped up in poker-related texts during Diddy's sex trafficking trial. There's no evidence DiCaprio was involved in anything illegal, but hanging around these circles isn't exactly the best look. Bezos weddings and designer baseball caps. In 2024, DiCaprio tried to keep a low profile while attending Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's jaw-droppingly expensive wedding. Photos showed him tugging his baseball cap down, as if that would hide the fact that Leonardo DiCaprio was at a $20 million bash. This is the same DiCaprio who once declared that governments and the powers that be aren't moving fast enough on climate change. Yet there he was, celebrating the Amazon founder, a man whose company pumps out 16 million metric tons of CO2 annually. Saving the planet is noble, but not at the expense of missing the shrimp tower, apparently. Where's the work, Leo? Maybe part of the backlash comes from the fact that Leo just isn't on screen much these days. Since 2016, he's only starred in 3 movies. Sure, he still commands $20 to $30 million per role, but smaller projects? Forget it. Reportedly, he even turned down $3 million for a single day of shooting in a proposed Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sequel. Upcoming, he's teaming up with Paul Thomas Anderson, which could redeem him in cinephile circles. But for now, fans are left waiting. And the longer he stays absent, the more people seem to focus on the yachts, girlfriends, and shady dinner companions. Final curtain call. Leonardo DiCaprio is undeniably one of the greatest actors of his generation. He's given us The Departed, The Revenant, Inception, and countless memes about not winning an Oscar until he finally did. But off-screen, he's less Jack Dawson and more Jay Gatsby, surrounded by excess, questionable allies and contradictions. For every stirring climate speech, there's a jet-fueled gala. For every foundation fundraiser, there's an oligarch guest list. And for every critically acclaimed performance, there's a Reddit chart of his girlfriend's birth dates. Still, Hollywood has a way of forgiving its brightest stars. Maybe Leo will deliver another powerhouse role that makes everyone forget about the yachts and scandals, at least for a few hours in the darkened glow of the movie theater. Until then, the world will keep side-eyeing him, and maybe checking ID at the door. And that's the wild ride through Leonardo DiCaprio's off-screen drama. What do you think? Is Leo just misunderstood, or is he the wolf of real-life street? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'll be reading them while avoiding private jets. If you had fun watching this breakdown, hit that like and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, stay curious, stay entertained, and remember, what happens in the posse usually leaks onto the internet.